Step into a world shrouded in ash and darkness, where legends come to life and ancient powers linger. Welcome to Adventures in Lollygagging. We are playing Forbidden Lands. Join us as we set sail on longships and explore the unknown, braving untold danger and discovering hidden treasure that lies beneath ash and snow. This week is Melissa's turn for a character question, but I'm going to shake things up a bit. Bacho, we're opening on you. You are standing outside the Skraeling Warren. Rain is softly falling. You're holding both horses by the reins. Ven and Cloud are surprisingly unsettled. They're gently tugging at the reins, stamping their hooves. Around you, Skraeling are scurrying about, incredibly busy. You know that this is the time where they're trying to store as much as they can before the week of darkness. To you, it looks like a chaotic mob, with all these Skraeling going to and fro in all sorts of odd angles. But there has to be some sort of order to the madness, because no one ever actually hits another Skraeling. No sleds are toppled over. What have you been doing while Gunk is underneath the warren here?
I anger at this place, at these people, at these furless, pink-skinned, weak things that fail to even protect themselves, that fail to protect their own pack. So I'll stand here with these meat creatures that Zaldrun loves, and I'll protect them for the pack. But other than that, his nose is just open, and he's smelling everything, trying to take in the individual sense of the Skraelings around him and the environment, because he trusts nothing here any longer. He expects the pack to be attacked at any time from any quarter, and all he wants to do is escape with his pack intact.
Give me an insight check. You're going to get something no matter what, even if you fail here. But the more successes you get, the more detail you'll get.
Okay, so insight, I got 5 in wits and 2 in insight. So, okay, that's 2 successes and no 1. So I'm going to go ahead and push it. Okay, 4 successes, but I took 2 points of wits damage.
4 successes. Awesome. So what I was going to give you is that your Wolfkin keen senses pick up a scent on the wind. Despite this rain kind of dulling everything around you, you still get a whiff of blood. With those successes, I'm going to tell you that the blood is fairly fresh, that it is elf blood, and there's a mix of some other scent in there that seems alien to you, something that you're not used to smelling.
Can Gunk determine the direction or distance that he's smelling this from?
I'm going to be able to tell you that you can determine the general direction. It is into the woods nearby, sort of the same direction as the orchard, but not specifically that direction. You are a couple miles from the orchard, so the scent coming to you, it's probably not that far.
So you see Bacho hunch a little bit, and his ears fall back flat, and the fur on his neck stands up, and he arches his head back, and he lets out a great howl, hoping that Gunk will hear it and know that the pack needs to rally.
Skraeling immediately starts scattering at this howling. It's something they've heard before from Reavers. They definitely did not expect it from you. You don't look like a Reaver. You're not dressed like a Reaver. But the fact that you start howling, their instincts kick in and they just start going to ground. Gunk, I'm going to say that you are capable of hearing this. It's around the time that you would be coming back out, so you wouldn't be too far away.
So Gunk will, hearing it, will drop to all fours if he wasn't already, and he will start scrambling at faster rate as he understands what this message means. He's rushing to Bacho.
You start bounding through the warrens. kind of fighting a wave of Skraeling going the other direction at this point.
Pushing them over, knocking them, slamming them into if they get in my way. I don't care.
It's WWE down there. You get out of the warren fine. It's just a little more difficult because everyone going the other direction. And you see Bacho and the very startled horses. The Skraeling themselves, most of them have gone into the warren, but a few of them are starting to poke their heads out, seeing that there's no actual danger.
What is it? What is it? What the hell?
Bacho crouches down in front of Gunk and puts one hand down in the mud and then puts his forehead, forward to bump Gunk's forehead. He goes, "The pack must be protected, brother. There's blood on the air, knife ears, and alien blood mixed coming from the distance of that pond we found, that horrible force, that grove. We have to be prepared to fight or flee for the pack."
Where have Mirren and Zaldrun gone?
They've gone into the town of those fools to try to roust them against the enemy. They don't understand.
They are the enemy, at least one.
I know. I'd have torn the throat out of that knife ear the moment he threatened Zaldrun, but they will do what they think is right. The Furless, I'll never understand them.
Well, what shall we do? Shall we go find them, or shall we wait and stay vigilant? Cover their egress from the town.
Let's move to the gate so we can grab them as soon as they move out of the confines of that hellscape.
Yes, let us go.
Okay. The two of you start heading to the gates of the town. We're going to pick up with Zaldrun and Mirren then. You are moving through the town with Della in tow, and you are working your way to the more affluent side of town. The further you go, the slower Della starts to walk, and she seems a bit more hesitant until finally she says, where are we going? I shouldn't be here.
I've paid for you to be up here. It's all right. You should be here just as much as anybody else.
I understand I can be here, but the elves have a very strict caste system. Me being here is putting my reputation at risk.
Honestly, I don't understand, but if you'd like, you could stand near the door. We have to go out to get to the guards area, but they're going to bleed and die if they don't hear the same information as you, so I don't really see the point in pleasantries, but if you're feeling worried.
Bleed and die? What are you talking about?
I told you I was going to show you a little bit more information on what happened to your mother, and it was not pleasant.
You didn't tell me that more would be dying.
Well, that's what we're hoping to circumvent by spreading information and why you are important as an inn owner. And just as important as a little elf who hides out in his house and doesn't talk to anyone. More so.
I want a manipulation check to convince her to keep going.
Let me do this. So that is, give me my arm, please. Thank you. That is 4 empathy and 2 manipulation. Apologies, one moment.
Got a pup in the way.
There's a little bit of an issue. That is 3 successes.
Okay. That's enough that she begrudgingly agrees, especially with you saying it's a life or death situation, but she is definitely nervous. The 3 of you continue walking. As you're walking, you have plenty of time to think, to dwell on thoughts of the past, thoughts of the future. Zaldrun, you specifically are caught up with thoughts about how you were charged with a very dangerous mission. to return to the orc homeland.
Mhm.
Do you have any ties to your homeland? If so, who are they?
I have a few left. Unfortunately, in most of the travels and kind of various adventures that Zaldrun has had, she has sort of developed a very unpopular reputation of kind of being sole survivor. So unfortunately, she has seen a lot of death. But one of the reasons that she made the now clearly poor choice of kind of playing with the kind of the young ones here is that is very much what she remembers to be what she looks back upon fondly when she was very young and she was being trained as a warrior, but all of that was before her first kill. And the warrior training was just play and training with the other young orc warriors. And, she was skilled and she was tough and she did well. But it was all play and it was competitive and it was serious, but it didn't have the stink of death attached to it. And that's what she looks upon most kindly. Her kind of closest companion, once things moved beyond kind of the training, was the kind of son of the trainer. So another orc by the name of Fran. And he had been injured in training. And so, whereas most of the other young orcs sort of saw Zaldrun as competition or, kind of all of that, after his injury, he went in a totally different direction and became a minstrel and just kind of taking away that kind of competition was very much a relief for Zaldrun that, a lot of the other young orcs were always trying to best her or trying to kind of prove themselves. And that was not their dynamic. And she knows that, he's been successful in what he does and, has, started a family and, kind of all of those things. And so that's sort of the hope to just sort of see the other side, kind of that person that hasn't gone out and killed and been near death. And that's always refreshing for her.
This reverie captures you for some time until you realize that you are very close to the Delaire's house. And it's a rather nice wooden house. It looks almost a bit like a log cabin, but much larger and longer. Very well-kept thatched roof. There are wooden planks that are going through the streets, as always. The rain is still softly falling, but there's still plenty of traffic with foot traffic with elves moving back and forth. They always seem as if they cannot see you. The elves, their eyes, even when they pass over you, it looks as if they're looking right through you as if you don't exist. But you do make it to the house without any sort of confrontation or conflict. Della is even more nervous. Do you need me to go in or could I wait outside?
No problem with you waiting outside. I think Zaldrun is your friend would probably be fine with that.
I'm sure. I mean, you can certainly come in from the rain. There's no need for you to stand outside. These things are a bit hogwash anyway, but
Yes.
I don't think the Delaire would want me in his house.
understood. You have to live here long after we leave. So if this is going to bring you troubles later, I will not attempt to dissuade you.
Instant relief washes over her face when you say that. She then moves away from the house, almost across the street, towards a different building, not anywhere near a window or a door, but just enough to block a bit of the rain coming down, and she's within sight of the door. What are you two doing?
Knocking on the door.
Right behind you.
It's more of a pounding. It's not like a gentle knock.
Like a pounding of a fist on a coffin, that kind of pounding.
Sure.
That was a Mirren, her nightmare.
Yeah, I picked it up.
All right. You knock on the door, and there is a surprisingly fast response. The door opens just within a couple seconds. It's not the Delaire Brynmore that answers, though. You see that there is a female dwarf answering the door. She's got very pale blonde hair. It's pulled back into like a half ponytail. She's got a little wisp of a beard, more like a goatee. You can tell she maintains it a little bit, but it's so pale you can see right through it. And immediately, she is annoyed and maybe a bit surprised. Are you a fool? Using the front door in broad daylight? And you brought a halfling with you? You were supposed to come alone.
I am not actually here for that business.
Before anyone else sees you. She pulls the door open.
Okay.
Step in.
As Mirren will follow right after Zaldrun.
Zaldrun, you remember this room. It's a very wide room with a lot of empty space, a lot of useless space. There's a hearth on the far side of the room. The wall closest to you has several spear racks, very finely kept spears. Looks like they would never have seen a single use, whether hunting or fighting. You again don't see the Delaire Brynmore. You do see a familiar face, though. Sitting at the middle of the table, you see another orc, the scholar Voku that you met in Rochdale, just by happenstance. He looks very surprised at you. He seems to recognize you fairly quickly. It was only a few days ago. What? Why are you here?
Do we know him? He looks a little familiar.
Met him at the bar not that long ago. You all were in the back.
I only had a few drinks.
We shared a room in Rochdale. I've not been to a bar.
Yes. Yes.
This guy is... Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead.
He's a very slender orc. Not like scrawny or anything, but most orcs have a lot more muscle mass. You can tell that he has not trained the same way. He's balding a bit. He's got the hair going back on both sides, but there's still a good amount in the center there. And very pronounced ears. You do remember that he... Yeah. Sorry. No, you're fine. We're supposed to meet someone. Why are you here?
Life and death reasons. Normal life and death reasons.
And the dwarf is also very annoyed. These aren't the people you're waiting on? What? Why are you here?
You've got a parasite problem in the orchard, and the whole city is probably going to die?
What are you doing, Zaldrun?
I'm kind of nodding my head along with Mirren. She speaks the truth. This is why we're here. This is why we deign to knock on doors that we're not supposed to knock on at wrong times of day. Because, perhaps you might not want everyone to die.
Yeah.
With Mirren talking about parasite and give me an insight check, both of you.
Insight. Ooh. I don't think either of us are particularly good at this.
No.
No. This will be fun.
No. All right. I'm going to push because that was a roll of all fours.
1-6.
No. No ones, but no successes.
1-6.
Mirren, you don't catch the look on the dwarf's face. You do catch the orc's expression, which immediately becomes interested before he can kind of like pull it back and become a bit more reserved. Something about parasites. You caught his ear. Maybe there was a flicker of recognition.
Oh, you know what we're talking about. She points at the orc.
Possibly. No, I've done some research.
Great. There's a lake full of them, and they haven't broken through yet. But also, there's the flying ones, and like cocoons, and the little ones, the worm ones that are like going into people's skin. Saldrin, have I forgotten any? What do you think?
I don't think so. I think that sounds about like all of them.
Yeah?
And
Okay.
this is not the only place that we've seen these things. This is also present there as well before we did our travels.
Voku definitely has some recognition, and he starts to say something before he's cut off by the dwarf. If you're not the people we're supposed to meet, then you need to leave.
So you do want the town to die?
I have other matters to attend to.
We came here to speak to the Delaire. Where is he?
He's not here.
Where can we find him?
Speaks up at that point. Well, Nina, perhaps they have information the Delaire would wish to hear.
We were hoping to
could
share
wait.
this information with the Delaire.
He will be here shortly. I do not know exactly when.
Can we go find him somewhere? Do you know where he is?
He will come back. To say it delicately, he doesn't wish to be seen with us. So he needed to make his presence known elsewhere before he returned home.
The time that is wasted on appearance when people might die. But okay, let's just hang out and wait for him to go create himself an alibi so he can come back to his own home. And Zaldrin is just going to find somewhere to just plop down, like not particularly concerned about the delicacy of whatever chair she finds herself on top of.
Mirren will kind of like follow after her a little bit, but also kind of look towards the door, remembering the companion we've left outside. Like 1 hour, 5 minutes? How soon is soon?
Shortly. That's all I can tell you.
Right. Is there another entrance or exit into this home? We actually have someone else who is a resident here who felt like it would be bad for her to be seen coming into this home. So could we perhaps bring her out of the rain since we're going to have to wait?
Does she have more knowledge of these creatures?
She has a lived experience.
Firsthand.
Give me a manipulation.
I'm not lying.
Can I roll that too?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Or add a die to one of your rolls.
Would you like a die, Mirren?
Yeah, sure. That'd be ground. I will. That was 1. Thank you, Zaldrin, for the 1. That is 1 success. I'm not
You're
pushing
welcome
that.
for the 1.
Voku rolls his eyes a bit. Very well. Nina, would you be so kind? The dwarf, with a huff, walking a little bit more loudly than you would think she normally would, starts heading towards one of the back rooms. As she opens the door, there actually is someone on the other side who appears as if they were about to knock on the door and come through. You see Utska, who is the orc you did meet in the bar. The very big, burly orc, bald head, just built like a barrel. He is surprised to see the dwarf. Nina just says, "Another one," and then walks past him. He takes a couple steps in.
I was drunk the both times.
Yeah, that's true. He takes a few steps in and sees Voku, and he says a familiar phrase to you, Zaldrin. The eagle's claws are sharp, but the snake's fang pierces deep. And Voku responds, a drop of blood and the snake will strike. Brother. And they get up and they shake hands. Voku asked for him to sit down. I must tell you that we did not expect these two to be here, so perhaps guard your words.
Or don't. We really don't care.
Yeah, I mean, we're here for a day, maybe.
What are your names?
Mirren, nice to meet you.
Zaldrin.
It appears that you don't remember me. I am Voku. We did meet. We spoke extensively. That's okay. Perhaps you would tell me the story of these parasites, how you know about them?
Can we just wait until the Delaire comes and then we can just tell the story once? I just really don't like to have to just tell it again. And we're just waiting for him. Can we just do it
I'm
once?
sorry to be such an inconvenience to you as you
I
interrupted
appreciate your apology.
us, but I will tell the Delaire everything you tell me in detail so you don't have to worry about saying it twice.
Well, I actually have a particular arrangement with the Delaire, so I'm not necessarily looking to throw an intermediary into the mix of that.
Is there a benefit for you saying it instead of us? Like, does he listen to you? He seems a bit like, eh.
We are associates. I believe I have his trust.
Well, I suppose I could also call him an associates because I think when someone has blackmailed you into a particular life-threatening task, I believe that counts as associates.
I agree with you, yeah.
About now, Nina would come back with Della, who again looks very nervous, especially that she came in through the back doors of this place. She takes a seat at the far side of the table, and then it appears that you're just waiting, right? Okay. Let's flip back over to Gunk and Bacho. You spend a bit of time traveling through the fields around the town. Making it to a gate is what you wanted to do, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
One of the gates that goes to the above town, correct?
Correct.
Okay. You managed to get there just fine without any sort of conflict. What do you want to do now?
Do we go back inside and fetch them? I don't know how long this task of theirs will take.
With that blood on the wind, perhaps we should just assemble the pack and leave.
I agree. I want to stay here no longer. This place, even the Warren, I am done with this place. There are other places in this world that we should find, I think. And we should find it quickly.
Yeah.
And woe to whoever stands in our way getting there.
Then let's go into the city. Zaldrin said it was in the rich area where the knife ears live. We'll just go over there and I will howl until they come. And then we'll leave this cursed place to their own deaths.
I think that sounds reasonable. The furthest folk could not possibly have a problem with howling. It's a very reasonable thing.
If they don't like it, well, we can have that conversation. And he bares his teeth when they choose to come out.
Let us go.
So we're going to the city.
Pick a fight. Yeah, I know. I feel like let's go
Right.
pick a fight.
Yeah. It's early evening. You're basically just making the cutoff before they would stop allowing people in. But you can pay the silver and get in just fine. You start making your way towards the nicer part of town. You don't actually know specifically where they are, and it is like an entire quarter of the town. It's a big area. So if you would like to try and track them by scent, I think would make sense with Bacho. I would want
survival.
Survival sounds good.
Either survival scouting, it's all the same to me. So.
You've spent enough time with them that you're very familiar with their scent.
Do we have any audience dice?
Yes, we do.
I would like to take one, if that is all right, because my wits are a little damaged after my last roll. 2 successes and a 1, so I'm not going to push it. So just the 2 successes.
Okay. You pick up their scent. Something about the rain falling down, turning the ash to mud. It seems to capture the scent a little bit. It allows it to linger in a way that wouldn't normally happen. And you feel fairly confident. Sorry, go ahead.
I smell Zaldrin's scent and cinnamon. I know where they are.
It's a potent combination, yes.
However, I have not scented the stench of beer and shame that is Wolford.
That is surprising, because it is very aromatic. You can usually smell it from very, very far away. Even the eye can smell it. Yeah.
Well, the pup, if he does not hear the howls and come, he may be safer here with the dead, pink-skinned things.
I would imagine.
And we will follow the track.
Yes.
It takes a bit of time. Fortunately, Zaldrin and Mirren are just waiting. So the time frame's about to work out. You are making your way to the nicer part of town. The scent's getting stronger a little bit. You get to a point where you lose it a little bit. You don't necessarily know. You can't follow it specifically. And the tracks in the mud aren't enough to... There's been enough foot traffic that you can't necessarily go by their foot shape, despite Mirren having a very distinct one and Zaldrin too around here. But the rain kind of washes the mud away. You feel like you're within 100, 200 feet, but that's about as close as you can get.
Once again, Bacho just leans back, sucks in a huge lungful of air, huffing and puffing, so to speak, and then he lets out a great howl.
There is a collective gasp from every elf nearby. Every elf that has never thought you worth looking at immediately turns and their eyes fall upon you. Shock. Not necessarily fear, but they're appalled by the bad manners that you are showing here.
Go about your business, knife ears. I call the pack.
Give me a manipulation check.
This is a strong suit for Bacho because his empathy is 2 and his manipulation is 0.
Would you like a dice?
Yeah, this will be more fun. As you would probably surmise, I did not get any successes. Oh, I'll push it. What the heck? I didn't get any 1s either. Ooh, I got a 1 and a 2. So I took some empathy damage and still failed.
So maybe you do feel a slight twinge of shame, not necessarily of your actions, but realizing that it was a bit out of place.
You just feel great on the irritation.
Other hand, yeah, that's it. The elves, on the other hand, you tell them to move along, and they almost congregate further. They're talking amongst themselves, looking at you, and this goes on for a little bit. Zaldrin and Mirren, you hear the howl, and it is close.
Bacho's just scratching his ear, looking back at the elves, thinking to himself, Mirren tells me that I can't eat the livers of the humans, but maybe an elf.
Say anything about elves? Oh, Zaldrin. Mirren will kind of like look up at her. I guess we should go to the back door and let Wolford and nope, not Wolford. Where is Wolford? Gunk and Bacho in.
Is Mirren drunk
yes.
again?
Maybe.
Yeah,
Alcohol on the table?
that sound he's with us.
Nina the
And
dwarf.
She's just going to
is-
look at Nina because Nina just went and got the other one. And so there's just sort of an assumption that like Nina should just go and fetch them.
Mirren will also turn and look at Nina alongside Zaldrin.
Invoku does too, and with an exasperation that I cannot fully describe, she resigns herself to her fate of being the door dwarf. A big sigh as she gets up from the table, looks down, starts stomping towards the back door. A few moments later, Gunk and Bacho, you see through the crowd of elves, a dwarf that sees the commotion, is very angry, and starts motioning towards you.
Do you know that dwarf?
I have never seen that dwarf before in my life. I will not be ordered around by the likes of you.
Bacho screams out, "What do you want, dwarf?"
Oh, maybe we shouldn't have sent the dwarf. I think I can hear them yelling at her through the wall.
Come here. Be quiet.
Bacho just
What?
starts moving towards the elves like an iceberg through an ice. He's like, they'll either get out of his way or they'll fall before him.
They do get out of the way. They're even more shocked the fact that you're crossing between them. It's the most direct route for you, but they've never had to part ways for anyone that was not an elf of higher rank before.
He
There's
sniffs.
murmuring.
He goes, "You all smell of shame and sadness."
One elf woman. How dare you? You are a dog.
No, I am a wolf. You'd
She
be wise
tries
to
to-
know the difference.
Tries to recover her poise, just like pulls down on her dress a little bit. This is undignified. And she turns and starts walking away.
He lets out a little
Gunk, are you
yip
following
behind her.
Yes. Yeah, Gunk is right behind. Absolutely. He's been there's mud all over off right? Because there's the walkways and
Yeah,
the mud.
absolutely.
So he's been scooping it up, wiping his face, kind of taking a bath in the rain as he's passing by, and he looks up at the elves. What? What is? Go away.
What do you want,
You're-
dwarf?
When your muzzle's clean, it's a nice snow white, but right now it's just a deep, deep brown. This
Yes.
is the worst of mud. There's so much foot traffic that nothing can grow, and it just kind of stagnates, turns into the worst type of gunk imaginable. You make your way across the street, and Nina,
They can't even keep their mud properly. Look at this. This is awful. What is wrong with you people? Ah.
Their blood is so weak it is not even worth rolling my fur in it.
Yeah. This could not clean the. Oh, goodness. This is terrible. Filthy. This place is filthy.
what are you doing? Have you not heard the word subtlety before? She turns around and starts heading towards the back of the house.
Who is this person to talk to us this way?
Such an
Water.
angry little dwarf.
Are you following?
Yeah.
Okay.
Fine.
She takes you around the back of the house. There's definitely a servant's entrance. You can tell it's a much more poorly made door. It's a lot smaller. Bacho, you probably have to duck to get in there. It goes through a kitchen area. Not a very nice kitchen, but definitely a used kitchen. And there's a bit of a storage area nearby, and she just takes you through a hallway until you get to a nicer door. She opens it, and you see your companions sitting there at a table with two orcs.
Hi, Gunk. Hi, Bacho.
Mirren,
Come in.
Zaldrin.
Hmm.
I smelled the blood of the knife ears and an alien scent coming from the orchard. It's time we leave these fools to their death. The pack must survive.
Sheet. Okay. Soon the Duber McDuberson is coming here. And then we can just like tell them and give them a map and then, get out to that fishing village.
Indeed.
Yes, there seems to be some type of super secret meeting of some sort going on here that the Delaire needed to go out, give himself an alibi, and then come back. So we're waiting for that stupidity to happen so that
Listen.
we can share life and death news.
Why are we waiting here? Just for them not to listen to us, to not take our recommendations, to not treat us with any level of dignity, and then blackmail you or us into doing something that we don't want to do. Why are we doing this?
Oh, and to be fair,
There are
these orcs,
2 orcs
here
and a
and
dwarf
here,
hearing every word too.
they actually recognize the word parasite. So possible they listen to us this time.
Orcs, do you care what happens to this town?
Voku looks at Utska. They kind of like share some sort of expression. And Voku turns back. Not especially.
Then let's leave. We know where we have to go, that whaling station. If we're taking this mission, then we need to leave.
Before you leave, Halfling, you wanted to tell me a story. Please tell me. I'll pay you.
Oh, okay, Bacho, just like 5 minutes.
Bacho sits down at the table and starts carving Wolfkin ruins into the tabletop out of boredom with his claw.
This is such a finely made table, too. You can tell that it's perfectly smooth. One solid piece of wood that's been sliced perfectly at like 1.5 inches thickness. Layers and layers of varnish, and it's so easy for you to just start indenting in there. Mirren?
Okay, so this is important, and she'll also look at the innkeeper just because we brought her in here and have potentially ruined her life a little bit. Oh yes, I'm very sorry. So you guys seem to have your spirit animals being like snakes and eagles, and blood, which is fine. Like we do a lot of the blood. But we tend to listen to like the wolves and the ravens, I think. Yeah, Gunk? Yeah, it was a wolf.
Mirren, what about the parasites?
What? What are we talking about?
I mean, the wolf brought Gunk to the parasites.
Oh, yes, of course. Well, technically, it was the Earth Mother who
was it Earth
sent the
Mother?
wolf to signal me to go
Mhm.
through the forest, to the orchard, to the pond, where hell was rolling around in the pond. Yes.
Yeah. So if you go into the orchard from the burrow, and what direction was it, Gunk? It was, you just went like northeast or something?
Sure. Yes, northeast sounds right.
Okay. And then there's like, you start to hear the sounds of all the insects that are actually like flying parasites. And then you also start to see like the little pods and their little nest eggs. And then you look down and you see a big lake and you see all the big snake things. And they're like, "Arr."
Is that the only place you've seen them? Why would you bring the tavern keeper for this?
So she actually had a real life experience because her mom was affected by it. We brought her because we wanted to let her know and give her some closure, because her mom actually had a parasite, which means they've already breached your town. And there were a bunch of cats that might have also had parasites, but they got out in the street somewhere. Anyway, so her mom accidentally, I guess, maybe went to the orchard. Did she? And she got one of the little ones that almost got into her dwarf friend, and then Gunk did some really good medical stuff and like made sure he was okay. But we also killed the one parasite from that one too.
Voku is frustrated but trying to get more out. He starts gesturing almost futilely. Anyone who wants to, I want an insight check. Zaldrin,
Alright.
you're going to get a +1.
Not bad.
I'm sure she can tell her own story because she actually like lived the experience and her mom came back and all of a bunch of days before we came through.
Bacho got 2 successes on insight.
Zaldrin got 1 success and took 1 empathy or wits damage.
Fail, and I'm not pushing. Too many ones on that first roll.
Mirren, are you good with without rolling?
Yeah.
Okay. So Zaldrin and Bacho. Zaldrin, you especially, your palms are wrapped from the deep burns that you received the previous night. As Voku is gesturing with his hands, Bacho, you see this too. You see a very similar burn, just as deep, healed, not as recent, but almost the same sort of shape and indentation, Zaldrin, that you have. Bacho, you wouldn't necessarily know what Zaldrin's hand looks like right now, but with your 2 successes, you can piece together what the piece of coal looked like and what his hand looks like.
Did you hunt for the coal, orc?
Coal, what? How do you know about that?
Do I look stupid? We smell these things out. The pack is strong.
The coal is none of your business. You
Yes.
should not have knowledge of it anyways. Mirren, what
No,
is this the only
coal? Do you mean that the golem, or do you mean that which was within its heart?
He probably means the artifact, you know. The boom 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 that caused the burning.
Hmm.
You don't have it, do you?
No.
Oh, he died a day,
Yeah.
2 ago, something like that.
What if you give me a manipulation with +1 for the other?
I'm willing to roll it if you want to give me the +1 for the lie.
You can do that. I also actually want to cast telepathy
Ooh.
on him to try
Absolutely.
to get an
I
idea.
had a feeling you would soon.
I'm trying to I try to at least push to get the surface thoughts.
All right. I am going. So sorry, I get one +1 from Gunk.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you. I am going to push that, taking 1 damage. My abilities. That is 0 3s for me. Oh, sorry, 0 6s. I have several 3s.
I had a feeling you meant 6s. It's pretty obvious that Voku doesn't believe you. He doesn't necessarily press it now. Mirren, have you had any more experiences with these parasites only in the orchard?
No, we dealt with that whole Skraeling warren, remember?
Yeah. We did the this and a little bit of the burning in the other one, but not here. No,
The Warren is
There's the
infected too?
bear. Is not the
not
one
this
here.
war. Yeah. It's the other
By
war.
Rochdale.
Roachdale. Bear?
Quit
What
changing
bear?
the subject. What is it you know about this coal?
Did you cast the spell?
I did.
Yeah. No mishaps?
No mishaps. Yes.
Okay.
It's only power level 1, so it's no
Just
deep
surface level.
memories. So it's that's why I'm trying to get him to think about it right now.
And you've mentioned the coal enough. His surface level thoughts would be that he's on guard, trying not to say too much about the coal. He definitely knows what it is. He's seen it before. And you get the words Annick's passion. Annick. She's one of the Kadarin, one of the gods.
So Gunk is really pissed and is so done.
Annex passion. It is right there in your face, orc. It is right there on the edge of your brain. You shall not sit in this room with I and try to hide thoughts from me. Tell me more and quit wasting my time.
I'll tell you. I found it. I'm a researcher. I was looking for the artifact, and I was fortunate. There appeared to have been an earthquake many years ago. It was a difficult climb, and it was very difficult to find the crevice. It was covered by snow, many layers of packed snow and ash. But I knew where to look. And it led me straight to the vault. I did not even have to open the door. It was torn apart. Now you tell me.
No,
How do you know
that
so
is
much
not
about this?
enough. You didn't tell me anything at all about it. You told me your silly life story about this research you did and an earthquake that happened and how you stumbled upon it like a fool in the wind. What do you know of it was the question.
What do you know of it?
It is rude. Entirely rude to answer a question with a question. I will not suffer this rudeness any longer. If you want to know what I know, you must first offer something of truth and value. You have done neither as of yet.
I have a feeling you know what it is. It's an artifact of the gods. What more do you wish to know?
What more do I wish to know? You found it, yes. You are a researcher, yes. What experiments did you run on this? What did you attempt to achieve with it? What did you achieve? What did you fail? Come.
Some secrets must be kept close to the chest, but I will tell you that I am a scholar first and foremost. I'm not a scientist. I did not need to perform experiments. I already knew what it was. Some of us have formal education. We've dug deep into certain scrolls and tablets. We don't need to bother with reading other people's minds.
This is your last chance. You say multiple times you know what it is, what it does. Say it, or we are done.
It's rather simple. It grants protection from fire and heat.
That is what it does.
That is what it does.
But what is it?
Annex passion.
Word games, misdirection, answering questions with questions. You are not forthright.
You have done nothing but insult me, criticize me. I did not ask you to be here. I am offering in good faith, and yet you refuse to tell me anything of value as well.
We also came in good faith to offer information for safety. If anyone would like this information before we leave, or we can just go about our way.
Bacho shoves his way up and says, "Let's go," and heads towards the front door.
Well. Absolutely.
Wait. There are tablets that detail these things. They're difficult to translate. I doubt you could do it.
We've already translated several of them. You waste our time, scholar.
You have. Where did you find them?
None of your business.
It was Wofford.
Oh, yeah. Oh, he knows Wofford. That's right. It's pack business, orc.
I told you several days ago that the mage Dustin was robbed in Lingen. It was Wolford that robbed him. It was Wolford
Oh no!
that discovered he even had anything of value. He slept with an elf woman here in Terran, stole her work, went to Lingen, stole Dustin's work, and now there is a whole slew of adventurers looking for these things that are supposed to remain secret. And I suppose that's why you are wandering about as well. But if you have it, I would like it, and I will pay for it.
We should probably go get Wolford. He seems suddenly quite more useful than what I thought before.
The pup will find the pack, or he will stray beyond it. But it's time for us to go. Death is on the wind.
What is the connection between the tablets and the parasites?
That's a bit more strained. It has nothing to do with almost nothing to do with the artifacts. The vaults can only be opened by a key. And I'm offering you this information in good faith, and I hope that you will share information with me as well. This key is more than a key. It's an arc. The Ark of Desheb. Inside this container is supposed to be another key. The key to a certain powerful individual, his legacy.
There's a key and a key, and the key inside the key is the legacy key.
If that's how you wish to say it. The individual, I doubt you know who it is, the unsung is his technical term. He created the tablets. The tablets were ways and directions to follow his steps, his trail. And ultimately, at the end of that trail, supposedly, is the blood of Desheb. That is what Malin, the goddess, Skraeling call her Earth Mother. That is what she used, the power she used to form literally the earth. Everything. Its ultimate power. Supposedly. Would you please share with me in return what you have found? What you know?
Well,
I will pay handsomely.
We don't know things that we actually do, which is a bit of a mistake. We do know who the unsung is. And we did know a lot of what you said already. But
Damn
we
Wolford.
don't. To be fair, that one wasn't Wolford. We haven't figured out where the next tablet is, though. We don't know that.
Regardless, it doesn't matter. Without the Ark of Desheb, you won't be able to get the artifacts. None of this
perhaps
helps
I missed
you.
it, but how does this connect to the parasites? You said it would, and I didn't hear the connection.
When the unsung achieved immortality, he had to touch the mind of one of the first ones. That created a permanent gateway of sorts. These parasites, as you call them, they're a sort of spawn of Desheb. They are hunger incarnate. They can never be sated. They will always consume. Somehow, that gateway that was sealed for a long time by a man called Thaddeus the Examiner was opened.
Somebody looking for another tablet, open something they shouldn't?
Likely. Again, if you have that artifact, I will pay handsomely for it. I would rather not have to resort to other means.
Are you threatening me, Orc?
It sounds like a threat, Bacho.
Indeed,
It's not a
did.
threat. We're fine. We don't die.
Utska stands up immediately to face off with you, Bacho, and you probably have a bit of height on him, but he's definitely got weight on you.
Mirren will turn to the dwarf. Is there like a combat room in here so they can just like work it out a little bit?
What?
You don't have a combat room? How are you supposed
Why
to
are
work
you
out
even
aggression?
here? You have ruined everything.
It's a good point. We should simply
parasites.
leave.
The parasites ruined everything, but you
Yeah,
can just
yeah.
die to them. There's that.
Yeah.
We've told these fools everything they need to know. Let's simply go. I'm tired of this town, its stench, and its people.
These fools
Utska
also
lets
seem
out
to
a
think
low
that we
growl.
don't know everything we know.
And Voku raises a hand. Let them go. They do not wish to help. I have offered help in good faith. We've learned their character. Let them go.
To be fair.
In fact, we've learned about your character because you think that anyone who isn't you is dumb and doesn't know anything, when in fact you acted like you were telling us things and we knew everything that you were telling us anyway. So this trading information, you assume that others are ignorant and couldn't possibly have also adventured and learned and traveled and read and do all of those things. And if you already know about the parasites, then you clearly are already telling the Bel Air about the parasites. So we are not needed here.
Are you trying to take credit for the knowledge that Wofford stole and gave to you? Is that what's happening right now?
I'm sorry, does every fact need to be cited back to the original person that had the thought? Or if I know something, I just know it?
It sounds like Wofford is the only intelligent member of your party.
Yes. Let's go with that. All right. Well, we've warned you about the parasite and told you the location, which really was our main goal here. And I think we are just going to part ways.
All right, you guys are leaving?
Bacho
Yep.
heads right for the front door.
I will make sure that the innkeeper comes out with us and kind of like guard her a little bit.
She is
Just to
very
be a
much...
jerk,
Yeah, go ahead.
Zaldrin's gonna like stomp her feet as she's going out. So there's mud.
Kick off the mud.
Yeah. Just not that they even owned this home, but just cause.
You all file out of the door. Della is beyond embarrassed, more like worried for her life. There are quite a few elves that are actually looking at you now when you come out. And in the distance, up towards the Gideon Brennan's feasting hall, you see Zaldrin, you specifically see a figure that looks a lot like the Delaire Brynmore. A good distance away, not within speaking distance. You can tell he recognizes you. Gives a look and looks back at his house.
Is our path going to cross paths with him? The way
No,
we were
you would
headed?
be going the opposite direction.
I will continue walking with the pack, but just sort of look to see if he alters his course at all.
The pack continues going, occasionally looking over your shoulder. You see that he picked up his pace, but then he goes into his house.
Let us
Where are you
clean
guys
this
going?
mud from our feet.
Let's leave this town, get out. I mean, we were supposed to go to that whaling station, right?
Right.
To catch the ride tomorrow.
Do we want to just drop by the inn to make sure she gets home and then also pick up Wofford, who's probably still there?
I can make it to the inn on my own. If I do not know why I was needed for this.
You can spread information. You know way more than you knew 5 minutes ago, and it's important that you don't shut up about it.
Indeed. We were hoping that that would go better. We were hoping that it would be the Delaire there who might
Yeah.
have been a little bit more open to what was going on. We did not intend this to be a pissing contest of intellect and knowledge that it turned into. So you weren't needed to witness that, but
No, I just wanted to show you where the bad things were coming so you could see that and forewarn the people down below, because the knife ears aren't going to say anything to you guys.
In other words, all of you in the Undercity are going to die like your mother died unless you learn to fight or run.
Learn the signs of the parasite and make sure it doesn't get in.
I have learned a lot today. I will do my best to share this knowledge. I would like to go to my tavern alone. And if I see Wilford, I will tell him that you are at the whaling camp.
That works.
we will respect your request.
Thank you. And she backs away without actually turning away for a few steps before hustling off.
And Bacho yells out, "Luck be with you. I hope you don't die horribly in your own blood."
As soon as you say luck, there's a visible flinch. And then she looks over her shoulder a little bit and just gives a slight wave and picks up the pace even more. All right. We are almost done with the evening quarter here. You're about halfway through it. By the time you get across town again, you are leaving the town, correct?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
You get out through the gate and you get to where I assume you tied up the horses probably at a tree across a field or something. They wouldn't let you leave it at the gate. You make it back to the horses and you're looking to just spend the time at the whaling town or whaling camp.
Yep. Head there, rest, recuperate.
I think you guys did really well talking to them. That was, we got a lot of information.
They disrespected you and deserve to have their throats torn out.
Kind of haves and have-nots is why I enjoy spending my time with you all, sleeping under the stars.
Yes, it's a little
Trappings
bit
of
calmer.
Civilizations are not my preference.
I care not for these artifacts, though I'm glad that Gunk gets an opportunity to hold them and study them, but as long as the pack is together, we will be strong and safe.
Speaking of the artifact, Gunk, between what you've already seen of it, along with what he told you, I'm going to make it visible here to you. Annex Passion. It is a lump of coal in the shape of a human heart, and it emanates a heat so strong that it cannot be held with bare hands without being burnt. Anyone who does touch Annex Passion without gloves or protection takes 1 strength damage. If someone is holding the artifact with their bare hands and takes the damage, they can choose to spend 1 willpower to be immune to all fire and heat for as long as they hold the artifact. This protection only extends to their person, not their gear and equipment. Additionally, Gunk, you would have noticed this especially when you were near Hayrig with it. It seems to burn brighter and hotter when it's near a humanoid corpse. And you guys should be able to see it in the artifacts tab in the items if you want.
Yes, I see it. Can I drag that onto my sheet?
Yeah, absolutely.
Nice.
Making your way to the whaling camp, you can tell that there was a lot of activity there today. Most of the camp is being torn down in preparation for Gwinnett. Boats have been hauled extremely far inland, surprisingly so. The week is going to be cold, and the ice will rise further than you would expect. They're also being put up on stands because there will be so much snow that comes down that if they weren't, they would just be buried by the end of the week. Except for one boat that is still out on the water, a ways away. There's no dock or anything like that, so you just have to take a dinghy back and forth, or they drag it up onto land. This one is staying out, surprisingly, at anchor, which is very strange for this sort of camp. Usually you just beach the boat. What are you guys doing? You just want to spend some downtime, recover, rest?
Oh, yeah. Bacho definitely needs to curl up around his tail and take a nap.
Mirren will pull out some fishing line and use the fishing village for what it's for.
Technically, fishing takes a quarter day, and you wouldn't have a full quarter day until the night. If you wanted to fish instead of resting, and then you could fish or rest after, that is a possibility.
We'll rest with the pack.
Okay. As you all are settling into the camp, it's much more crowded than it was the previous night. A lot of these tents and shelters have been torn down and packed up. There's a few remaining that they'll tear down tomorrow. No one really questions that you're there to sleep. They don't bother like checking who you are. You can tell there are cliques and crews that have formed and stay together, but you kind of worm your way into one of these shelters and clear out a corner. I'm sure when they see Bacho and Zaldrin, they make some space without causing too much of a fight. You start to settle in for the night when you hear another boat being landed in the water. And you hear some shouts of acknowledgement, some speaking. You can look out the flap that's still held open right now, and you see that it's a smaller fishing boat. It probably holds 10 to 15 sailors and a good amount of fish when it's full. It's coming back with no hull whatsoever. And more so, there is what appears to be a dead sailor wrapped in some canvas being hauled off the boat.
Mirren would be curious enough to try to sneak up and take a peek at the body that's coming off.
Is anyone else curious, or are you just ready to sleep?
Kunk is also curious as well. You will go with Mirren.
Yep. Zaldrin too.
Oh, let's sneak. It's been a long time.
Bacho's already sort of snoring. He had a rough day.
And Zaldrin will sort of, because Wolford is with us, right?
No, he has not shown up yet. Della said if she saw him, she would send him your way. So
Then
the three of you.
Zaldrin will stay with the sleeping Bacho.
Okay. So the two short people head out. There aren't many people your size, but there are a handful of dwarves. Gunk, you're short. That's the bottom line.
No.
You're tall for a Skraeling.
Short people, but we're not
You're not a
actually
person?
short. Right. So, like, relative to our species, we're perfectly
we are
average.
the right size.
I take the collective average of every species, every kin. How about that?
Yes, homogeneity. It's totally fun when we do that with various cultures and species.
I promote diversity, okay?
Do you? I don't know.
Oh, Jeff, I hate you and love you at the same time.
That's fair.
The two average-sized people for their species make their way to the shore. And you can hear a bit of the story as the sailors are exchanging information. Apparently, they had a full haul, and they were returning. They weren't very far away when they were spotted by reavers. The reavers tend to have 24 oarsmen and a steersman, and they just could not outrun them. So they did one of the tricks that many sailors around here do. They emptied some barrels, sealed them back up, and tied their hull to it so that it would bob and float a little bit. They dumped the entire thing overboard. Unfortunately, by the time they were able to accomplish that, the reavers had already gotten within spear throwing distance, and one of their crewmen was hit and killed. Another crewman was injured, but it seems like it wasn't as bad. Fortunately, the Reavers were willing to stop, perhaps because it's so late in the season. They wanted the food over the thrill of the kill. That sort of maneuver tends to only be successful about half the time. So they're obviously shaken and disturbed by this. You get a description of one of the Reavers, actually. It was a Reaver with very pale fur, but it was crusted with a dried blood, as if he never bathed after any killing. And I will give you that sounds familiar to you. If you remember, what started this whole adventure for you all is that you were on a ship with Wofford and you were attacked by Reavers, and you were captured by a Reaver that fits that exact same description, Ornolf the Unwashed.
Couldn't remember if he was pale or not.
Yeah, I was going to go dig in my notes.
The sailors are gossiping a bit, a lot of tension. The fact that Reavers are so close, when it's so close to Gwenna, they're going to be looking for somewhere to shelter. They tend to go where other people have built shelter for them. So a lot of people are speculating on what could happen. There's a lot of fear in the camp right now.
Did you hear that, Gunk?
Yes, it sounded not that foul creature.
Mm-hmm. The one that just never bathes that got us that first time.
Yes, he was very rank. You need to bathe.
Even I could smell him, and I have a terrible nose.
Your nose is not terrible, but it is a halfling trait. You're not no snout. It is fine. You are for your species. Your nose is quite lovely.
I appreciate that. Yes. But I mean, if the Reavers let them run back to land, they know the route.
That is true.
They can just follow after. We're so close to the darkened days that they're looking for a place. If I was them, I'd wait till darkness the night before. This night, slip in when everybody's trying to sleep. We might need to be careful.
That does sound ruthless enough to be something they might do. Yes.
They've killed enough of my people.
God, do we warn people of this possibility, knowing that they will not listen to us? Or do we just flee?
To be fair, Gunk, a lot of sailors are talking about this right now. The news will spread quickly.
Mirren will kind of...
Are they floating the same theory that Mirren has floated? Or are they just talking
Quite a few of them, yeah. Okay. There's a lot of speculation. There's a lot of theories going out. How much any of it will actually happen, who knows? But Reavers have been rarely seen this far up the coast, but it's not unheard of. And that's why Terran maintains its walls.
Well,
now, imagine if one of the little squiggly parasites got into the unwashed dude. Would he even feel it? Because he's not washed. He's probably got all sorts of little things in there already.
As much as I dislike the unwashed man, I do feel the Skaten are perhaps a more total threat. The Reavers are a menace, yes, but they are still flesh and blood and of this earth and of this world. The Skaten are of a time before this world, insidious and terrible. I am not sure I would want one to infect the other. The question is, what do we do with this information?
Well, we warn our pack at least because they're camping out, and it sounds like the sailors have a similar idea. So prepare for a fight, maybe.
Yes, find defensible position, fortifications.
The other thing Gunk would have been interested in is what they did with the dead body.
They would have carried it to shore and tried to be as respectful as possible, but it's getting dark.
Course.
You get the impression that they will take it up to Terran or near that area to bury in a graveyard.
Does Gunk see or overhear perhaps where this body was left?
As it's getting darker and darker, no one's keeping watch over the body. It's covered in canvas. They don't have to worry about scavengers necessarily getting to it. It's outside one of the tents nearby, so there's always someone close, but there's no one actively looking at it.
I see. Mental note taken.
Should we sneak on? Take a look?
I'm curious. For a few different reasons. But yes, let us do that.
Sneak in. I can talk our way out of anything. If we get caught.
By sneak
we
in,
get caught.
you're trying to... The body's actually outside one of these tents because it's just so crowded right now. And no one really wants to sleep next to a corpse. So you would have to wander through the tents a little bit without being seen if you want to get to the body. And you have to be able to unwrap it quietly enough. But you absolutely could try it.
What's
Gunk
the
would
worst that
very
can
much-
happen?
It was very
Okay.
much like to move towards the body, stealthily, quietly, that sort of thing.
Give me a stealth check.
I will indeed. Do we have any gifts from those that watch us?
Yes, we do.
I will take one.
From the Earth Mother's children.
Oh, I like that. Yes. That's a
Do you
much
want
better roll.
me to support Gunk, or would you have 2 rolls?
With stealth, let's have 2 rolls. We'll see how it
Okay.
goes. You can
I'll
talk your
push.
way out of anything.
I'll push as
That's
well.
the backup.
Oh, yes. That is brilliant. That is
One
3
success.
3 successes, but I do take a agility damage.
3 successes. And 1 for you, Mirren. Gunk, this is night for you. It's very dark at this point. You can see perfectly where you're walking. You have a bit of crunch from like the gravel of the shore nearby underneath, but the are you wearing shoes? The padding of your paws softens it quite a bit. Mirren, on the other hand, is a bit noisier, but she has you to follow. There's a couple times where she kicks a couple rocks,
Oh, sorry.
but it appears that with how much has happened today, these sailors are very tired and exhausted. They're ready to rest. They know they have another day of work tomorrow, and everyone just seems to be looking forward to that week of darkness because they know they'll be in a tavern drinking all week. So you make it to the body. You can definitely start unwrapping the canvas. What specifically are you looking for?
Well, Gunk might be looking for different things than Mirren, so I will let Mirren go first.
Mirren is looking for, well, with the Reavers, we're just going to see what items are still on there, if the wound is what it is supposed to be. Maybe a few trinkets.
I don't think this requires a healing check. You're going to see that he looks like he's already been stripped of most of his equipment. He's still wearing a shirt and trousers. He doesn't have shoes anymore. He doesn't have a belt anymore. There is a bloody stain in one of the torsos, and it appears to line up with where a spear would have gotten right in the heart.
Well, nothing interesting for me. How about you, Gunk?
I'm going to take a quick look. Could you keep an eye out just in case?
Sure.
So Gunk wants to do 2 things.
Yeah.
First, he wants to produce the onyx passion. He wants to see, in addition to the glow, if anything happens to it. Because it's supposed to, as you were reading, it's just kind of experimenting. Maybe this is how he learns this, as he kind of holds it in here and is kind of curious to see if anything happens when he kind of hovers it around. He keeps it wrapped, so he's not touching it, but he does let part of it be seen from beyond the wrapping. So he's kind of almost like a snow cone in a way.
I'm on the same page. The first thing you notice as you're digging through your bag is a smoke smell, as if something is mildly burning. It doesn't smell like anything's on fire, but knowing what you know Annex Passion is the likely culprit. You already have it mostly wrapped up in, let's say, a thick piece of leather that you were able to salvage. That leather is burning. You can smell that. It's tangible almost. You can almost taste it. You pull a little bit of that leather back, and it's bright. It's almost like a torch. You kind of have to, you pull it and then you immediately cover it up a little bit. You just let out a little bit more, and there's a little bit of smoke coming out of this right now.
Then he's going to just start kind of hovering it over top of the body, near the chest of this man, just to see if anything else happens. Just testing, curious.
I'm trying to decide if I want to check. I don't want to check. Nothing much different happens. It might be just a couple degrees hotter, just a little bit brighter, but overall it stays about the same as where it is.
Gunk gets a little furrowed brow, a little bit of frustration, but not the kind that he was feeling throughout the day. This is more, he's playing, he's testing, he's curious. He kind of looks at maybe a knife or something, and he looks at the man's chest, and he looks at his knife, and then he's like, no, they will notice this. So he puts that away. The next thing he wants to do is he wants to produce either the tablets or maybe a rubbing of the tablets, something like that. He will look over his shoulder to make sure Mirren is not looking at him, and he will start to kind of read through it a bit. He will see if he can rummage through the man's pockets to see if he can find anything, maybe a necklace or a bracelet or anything of this
Before
kind.
you get much further.
Okay.
Mirren, are you looking at him?
Mirren is currently not. She's trusting Gunk. She isn't watching what he's doing. She is trying to peer in and take watch, but also she can't see because it's dark.
Yeah, so there is a very dim light of a fire in this tent that you're near. It's definitely smoldering and going out. You hear a lot of snoring. There's some soft whispering going on, but it appears mostly quiet in there. Gunk, going through his pockets, there's nothing. Everything he had was already taken.
I already checked.
It could be even something not valuable, like even a belt rope or something. It does not have to
Take
be
his
something that could
toenail.
resell. Well, that is... Yeah, they could do that, yes.
As I said before, even his belt and his boots were gone. The best you could do would to like really get something close to him would be like a piece of his collar. That's about all that would be left.
He will do that. He will try to tear a bit. And then, is this a new quarter day, or is this like the ending of the previous quarter
We're
day?
in between.
Yeah.
It's dark, so if anything, it's the very beginning of night. But I'm not going to say this is taking the full quarter day.
So what I'm basically doing here is I'm setting up my training at some point, whether it happens now or whether it happens later, we can figure that out. But like what I'm basically doing is I'm trying to continue to mess around with these tablets,
And I'm trying... Gunk has discovered a will to animate that which is no longer animate, the death. And so he is trying to see for the first time if he could animate a corpse. And he's going through the machinations. He's got the piece of this man's collar that is close to him. He is perhaps somatically, verbally, he is materially doing all of these things. He's just curious if it was working at all. Maybe not at all. Maybe not perfectly, but maybe a tiny bit of movement here, a reaction there, something that is not just simple the body resting.
Yes. Dunk is an experimenter. He's willing to try a lot of different actions to try and get the results he wants. You're going through, and unfortunately, this is a very frustrating day for you, and it's not appearing to change. You have a piece of his collar as close as you could get to him, and you try to bring it towards the coal. You try to bring the coal and the collar to him. You're going through all these steps. Maybe you do decide to take a piece of toenail next after the collar doesn't work. The body might seem to be getting warmer, but there's so much heat emanating from this coal, you can't think that it's anything you've done necessarily. The rubbings of your tablet, there is something there, but as you've studied the tablets, you know that the text changes. And as you're looking at these rubbings, you're realizing that it lost a bit of its magic. There's still some useful things there, but without that enchantment, it's not going to translate properly.
So you're saying...
So just so you're clear of what I'm doing here, I'm going to be
trying to reanimate
the raise dead spell, which will happen. All I'm trying to do is role play that he's getting closer to figuring it out. So can we say that
we can say that you're getting
even
closer
the hand moves
by
like just ever so slightly, like the hand just suddenly moves? That's all I'm looking for. I'm not looking to actually raise him as a zombie.
We can say that you're going through so much of this process that something inside you creates some energy that you've never created before. And it doesn't actually have to do with this piece of coal or this artifact. There might be a twitch of a finger, a flicker of an eyelid, but as it happens, you felt the energy coursing through you.
Interesting. Okay. That is enough for now.
I don't think I can see anything. It's like really dark. Are you done?
Yes, I am done for tonight. Yes, we should get back. We should warn Zaldrin and Bacho. Yes.
Yeah. I'm shocked that they all went to bed. Where's the watches, honestly? It's like they've never dealt with Reavers before.
That is a good question. Where are the watches? Oh, dear. Yes, we must hurry.
Yes. Let's go back quickly. Bacho will enjoy a good fight, I think.
Yes, it is the only thing that cheers him up, to be honest.
I know. I think he could do with a bit of cheering today.
I was surprised that he did not hurt that orc in the middle. I thought it was going to happen. I
who
really
doesn't
did.
have a fighting room in their house?
It is true. Like if I were
Honestly.
to form a warren, I
Right.
would definitely have some fighting rooms big enough for Bacho.
When people live close by, you need the space where they can just beat each other up.
Yes, it is like you could form like a club, like a
Yeah.
fight club, right?
Yeah,
Where
yeah,
people
yeah.
can go and just let off steam.
I wouldn't want to talk about it, though.
Oh, definitely not. No,
Mhm.
that would probably be the first rule. We would not talk about it.
Yeah, I agree.
Zaldrin. Bacho is snoring. What have you been doing? Are you going to sleep as well? Are you staying up?
Mechanically, yes, she will get some rest, but she just didn't want to leave a sleeping Bacho alone.
Are you planning on going to sleep as well then? Is that what you're saying? Or you're
Yes.
just... Yeah. Okay. Bacho and Zaldrin, I want We're gonna say scouting. No, survival. Survival. And you're gonna both be at -1 because you're sleeping.
One success, and I'm not going to push it.
That's 0 successes, and there's a 1, so I'm not going to push it.
Okay. At some point, Bacho, not very long into your sleep, there's some rustling. It's not anything that seems dangerous. It's not like anything's attacking. But there was some whispering, and the sailors around you are slowly starting to wake up. And they're waking each other up, mostly quietly. It seems like they're trying to be respectful more than worried. But they're starting to file out of this tent.
Bacho rolls over and wakes up Zaldrin. The hairless pink things are deserting the tent. I don't trust them. We should find Gunk and Mirren.
Let's. Zaldrin stretches and gets up, follows Bacho's nose.
All right.
Bacho draws his longsword because he doesn't trust these guys. He doesn't like being unarmed and outnumbered. So
the sailors kind of give you some looks as you get up. They don't want to make eye contact. They avert their eyes a bit. One of them mumbles something about got to work on the ship, and then kind of stumbles away, half asleep as well.
Bacho sidles up to him, gets real close to his ear, smells. You stink of fear, sailor. Tell me what's really going on.
Give me manipulation +1.
It's once again his strong suit.
You are pretty intimidating, so you're getting a bonus die here.
Okay. No successes. I'll go ahead and push it. No successes. Nope.
All right. He does his best to slip away. Your claws probably dig in a bit. You just have to work. Something came up. The ship, the stands fell. We have to go fix it.
Understand this. You can tell me the truth. If my pack comes to harm because you did not tell me, I will hunt you and your whole family line down and kill every one of you.
Listen, I'm a nobody. I'm a sailor. I'm just trying to. My crew is going. I'm going. This you have to. My family.
I've got your scent now, human. You can tell me the truth, or you can pray for a faster death than the one I'll give you.
I already told you. And he tries to, as forcefully as he can, push you away and start following his crew.
Bacho just growls really loudly behind him. And I will spend a willpower point to get his scent.
Okay. You got a scent. All right. So you're making your way towards Gunk and Mirren, right?
Yes.
Where you think they're going. They went. Gunk and Mirren, you are meeting them as well. You're about wrapped up with everything. You're gonna get to a point where you're following the coastline a bit. It's the brightest area because a little bit of light reflects off the water. Not much pierces through the ash sky, but it's better than nothing. So you're following along the coast, and it's a little bit easier to navigate when you meet each other. 4 shadows in the darkness. What are you saying?
Zaldrin, Bacho, we were coming to get you.
The sailors. There's something wrong in the whaling camp. They stink of fear and betrayal.
But betrayal.
I think they seek to betray us out of fear. The one sailor whose throat I will tear out before the night ends lied to me.
What about?
Gunk.
I do not know, but I do not
Maybe-
trust them.
He was
Gunk,
acting
you can see in the
odd.
darkness.
I can.
Instead
Yes.
of us.
As you're talking, Bacho a bit louder than everyone else, you do see some figures moving towards you. They could be sailors, but they're heavily built like an oarsman would be.
I think
but
they led the
they have better
Reavers here,
clothing, and
actually.
it looks like they are armed. It looks like they have swords on. They're wearing swords.
Bacho, danger there.
How many were there?
5.
5.
How close are
Reavers,
they?
They are reavers, I think.
They're medium to short range right now. They're closing in, and they're steadily walking. They're not running towards you, but they're walking towards
Do
you.
they have their swords out?
No, they're not drawn right now.
Stand your ground and state your business or taste our steel.
Drop your packs, and you can live.
Bacho charges the guy who talks and kills him.
And kills him.
I mean,
let's go to
Yeah.
initiative first.
Just
But it
Yeah.
will
one
happen.
chase. Yeah.
All right. We are going into initiative.
So-
let me just. Yeah.
So point of order really fast. Like, so they can't see in the dark. So were they carrying some kind of light source?
No, they're seeing about as much as Mirren, Zaldrin, and Bacho.
Okay.
They likely were following Bacho and Zaldrin.
Okay. Got it.
Let me go ahead and activate this map for you guys. Not a perfect representation, but it's close. You guys go ahead and place yourselves about where you think you would be. And we're going to say that they are short range from you right now. Bacho, you said you were charging, so you could be near if you'd liked.
Yeah. Bacho will be Bacho's slow action will be to charge.
And go ahead and.
Which one was the guy who
initiative,
spoke?
guys? The one in the middle.
Okay. Nice.
Seems like pretty good roll. Does anyone want to change?
I'm good.
Zaldrin, would you like to be third? Are you?
I can.
I'll just shoot them. So it's if you would like to get closer sooner.
I will. Thank you.
All right. Bacho, you are up.
Okay, so Bacho charges using melee charge, so that's his slow action. And as he's charging up, he gets the smell of this guy, and he activates his Wolfkin talent. I'm going to spend just 2 willpower on that, though, so I can track him for 2 days if he lives.
All right.
Then I will swing. Hold on, I'm double checking my talents to make sure I've got everything right. Is he wearing armor?
He
It will-
is.
Okay.
As you get closer, you see a glint of chainmail. And he has a small shield as well that he's pulled out from behind his back as you start running towards him.
Finally, somebody that I can parry. All right, so that's sorry. Melee. 5, only sword 2. 1. So I'm just making sure I've got all my modifiers in. I did not roll. Okay. Oh, that's right. I'm rolling physical dice. What am I doing? Sorry. 5. D8. 1, 2, 3. 8 on the artifact dice, so that's 7 successes.
Okay. He's
And
going to
I'm
attempt.
going to spend my willpower point to bypass his armor. Obviously.
All right.
Oh, sorry.
He is going to attempt to
9.
parry as well.
That's 9 damage. Sorry, not 7.
One success there from the parry.
So he takes 8.
8. Yeah, go ahead and describe how you're just cleaving through this guy.
So Bacho does exactly what he says. He just charges this guy, and his sword is held in a low guard, and he stops right in front of him, just stripes it right between his legs, and just pulls up through his left shoulder, and his body just slides apart.
Give me a manipulation +1 here. Each success, I'm going to say, is going to do some wits damage.
My manipulation, as we all know, is 0.
This would be pretty scary for them to see.
So I will... I got 1 success. 1 success on 2 dice. That's not bad.
So all of them are going to be taking 1 wits damage here. Anything else for you there?
None of them are within striking distance of me, are they? None of the rest of them?
No.
Okay.
Well, actually, they wouldn't be arm's reach. They would be near.
Okay, then yes. So with my... since my sword fighter is rank 3, I can slash 2 enemies with my sword with a single action. So I got to roll separately for the second attack, which I will do now.
Bacho carving them up.
That's only 6 points of damage. I'm not going to push it because it would have done some serious damage to me. So 6 points.
All right, he's going to attempt to parry as well. Likely not as good for him, but we'll see.
And I will spend 1 more willpower point to bypass his armor as well.
You said 6 damage total?
6 damage total.
You were cleaving through this guy as well. He parried 1, but 5 is still enough to take him out.
And this time, so Bacho, after he cleaves through this guy, he just reverses the grip on his sword and just shoves it through this guy's mouth and levers the side of his head off.
Yeah. Gunk, you see this in vivid detail. The other two hear some howls and one yell of pain. The other guy doesn't even get that yell out. And you hear some thuds as their bodies hit the ground. The second guy, there's 2 thuds, the body and the head, hitting at different times. Gunk, what are you doing?
Seeing that they have perhaps hesitated or grown confused or uncertain based upon the viciousness of Bacho's attack, Gunk will hold his hand up to his head, and he will stare at one that is close, and he will look at them, and in the mind of this person, they will hear, "Death comes for you. It comes quickly, as you have brought it to others."
So I'm going to just sort of flood him with images of all of those who have he has killed as a Reaver, except instead of him doing the killing, it is him now taking that, as I'm using telepathy as a weapon.
I'm sorry, I should specify these are not Reavers, these are humans.
Okay, it doesn't matter. I thought Reavers was more like an industry.
They're
of
Wolfkin.
Okay, I wasn't sure.
They're a different type of Wolfkin.
Then
yeah.
Okay.
No
so
Are you saying
since my
2
cool
Wolfkin
flavor
are the same, Stephen?
You could
Well, there goes
definitely he's definitely seen some combat, so you could still do the same thing. Everyone that he's ever killed in a battle in a shield wall, he's being killed over and over and over.
It's too late. You
I'm
already
sorry.
completely ruined the cool flavor.
I'm
I'm just
sorry.
gonna roll my dice now. I'm also gonna take 5 audience dice to get an extra willpower. I do not have a magical mishap, and he takes 3 points of wits damage. You're muted, Steven. Can anyone? Am I the only one who can't hear?
You're muted,
I-
Stephen.
They're still
Okay.
muted.
Steven, you're
Oh,
still
I'm
muted.
sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, you take this guy out as well. He starts sobbing violently. He drops his weapon and just collapses to his knees, and then basically goes catatonic and just falls to the ground. Anything else, Gunk?
Nope, that'll do it.
All right. Zaldrin, you are up.
So, which was the soldier that went out with
So,
the officer by the?
The three in the middle are dead. The two on the flanks are still alive.
Okay, so then I will go to the flank that is a little bit more straight.
And because you have a spear, you
Zaldrin.
have reach. So one movement will get you near, from short to near, and you can still hit him from there without being an arm's length.
Okay. So then I will have my artifact die to attacks with the spear with this one. So that's a D8 plus 4 plus the 3 plus the 2. Oh, it's a lot of dice. That is 3 successes.
All right. He is going to attempt to parry as well. As soon as you're moving in, you can tell that this guy is much less experienced than the others. He's backing up with very poor maneuvering. He's not going to parry very well. That is still 1 success. You said 4?
3.
3. You don't get a killing blow, but you get a vicious strike across his torso. He doesn't have any armor on. You can feel it rip through his cloth shirt, and he immediately starts grabbing his side and pulling away from you as best he can. Anything else? You good?
No. Yeah, that's her turn.
All right, Mirren, you were up. Everyone in between died.
Mirren will kind of look back and forth at all the suddenly dead people. Okay, well, here goes the last one. And she will draw her bow and use the combination of fast shooter to be able to ready my weapon, which will allow me to using 1 willpower with my rank 2 of Path of the Arrow.
Yes. And Thomas from the YouTube comments, thank you
Yep,
for the
that's just for
correction.
you.
We are going to do it right this time.
That is, after all that, 1 success and 4 ones, so I'm not
Ooh.
pushing it.
Okay. 1 success. He's not going to attempt to dodge. I think with it being so dark, he wouldn't even see it coming. And he is also not wearing armor, so he's going to take
And-
that full damage.
The second shot, or is he shoot him a second time?
I thought you didn't get 2 shots because of the talent. Is it a different talent?
It's 2 talents. I'm using
Okay, yeah.
instead of 2 from Path of the Arrow, I'm using 1 from
Yeah,
Fast
my
Shooter
bad.
and 1 from Path of the Arrow. It's all
so
arrow
you can
stuff.
you can still get the second shot off. Yes.
Fast Shooter explicitly says to combine with Path of the Arrow. That is 2 successes.
Okay. Again, not quite enough to kill him, but close. You hear the plunk plunk of your arrows piercing flesh. He recoils. You can see the shadow turning away. Anything else?
Oh, well, Bacho, have fun.
All right, these two, I'm going to roll it collectively. They are both going to attempt to retreat after this going so poorly. They want nothing to do with this. The one on the right, the one that was hit by the arrows, is able to pull away and just start sprinting, and makes his way well up the beach. Zaldrin, the one by you, attempts to turn, and there's a little bit of a runoff, the water coming down from the shore, and he just trips and splashes in it, and he scrambles to get himself back up. His guard is completely down, though. That brings us back to Bacho.
Bacho will charge up to this guy whose guard is down with his fast action. With his slow action, he's going to grapple him because he wants answers.
All right. Roll your might test.
I'm going to push it because I only got one success there. 2 successes. Not great, but 2 successes.
He's going to attempt to dodge, but it won't be very good. 1 success. Not enough to get out. So your attack succeeds. Both you and your opponent fall to the ground. You just pounce on him and you just tackle him down. You feel the warmth of the blood seeping out of him, drenching you as well, but you also splash into this cold, ice cold water. And we are dropping out of combat here.
Bacho's growling in his ear. Speak, human, if you would live.
He's like trying to pull his head up a little bit because he's just barely able to even keep his face out of the water. The majority of his head, like the ears, are definitely under the water. He's close enough to you that he can still hear you. What? Mercy.
Explain yourself or die on this beach.
We were hired to steal from you. We just wanted your packs. I wasn't going to kill you. We weren't going to kill anyone.
Who hired you?
An elf. I can't tell you who.
You can't tell me who?
Can Gunk touch Mirren on his shoulder and spend 5 audience dice to get a willpower and cast transfer and drain some willpower off of Mirren?
Yes.
How much you want? I got 9 left. I used 1.
Can I have 5?
You can take all 9. I'm gonna get more so quick. I almost always push.
All right. So the good news is I take 5. I get 5, but the bad news is I just rolled a magical mishap.
Ooh, nice.
Roll a D66. Oh, I've been waiting for this moment.
Okay. All right. That is a 34.
The spell unleashes demonic visions, which inflict 1 point of damage to wits.
That's not bad.
Right. That could be worse. Could have been worse.
You've been tampering with raising the dead. You felt that energy coursing through you. Now that you're trying to go back to a spell you already know, something about it it didn't click the right way. You perhaps had a movement wrong, or you just channeled the energy wrong. And you get visions of hordes of undead. All these people that you brought to life, but you have no control over, and they are angry at you for it. They are all like you're in the middle of a zombie mob. They're all pressing forward. Their combined weight is crushing you, but you snap out of it. Take the 1 point of wits.
Yeah. And what was? Then he looks up and he sees Bacho still kind of threatening him and threatening the man. He'll run up and then he'll place a hand on the guy's face.
And Alpha, you can't tell us, can you? I'm sure you can. Even if you can't speak it, your mind will betray it to us.
And then he'll cast telepathy to try and get it out of this man's head.
While Gunk does that, Mirren will like go up to Zaldrin. I bet you 1 silver. It's Duber McDuberson.
Ah,
All right, so you.
I
Sorry,
will
go
take
ahead.
that bet.
Okay.
You're just doing surface level thoughts, right? Not memories.
No, I'm gonna kick it up. I'm gonna kick it up
Okay.
to. I rolled. I spent 2. I'm gonna spend 2 willpower to get it to power level 2. I did not roll
Okay.
magical mishap on this cast, at least.
You don't have to go far back in his memory. It wasn't that long ago. He was in the above town, and the one that Bacho killed immediately seems to be the ringleader of this group here. You realize that they were guards. They had taken off their cloaks signifying their guards, and the captain said, "We got a job from Delaire Brynmore."
It looks as though these those who have sworn an oath to protect are very easily swayed to betray that oath. You coward, you fool, you murderer. This is one of the guards of that filthy place. They are sent by that fool whose home we spent time in today. He has nothing.
I didn't tell you anything.
Yes, you
Water
did.
starts rushing over.
He is of no more use for us.
He will warn them. He will warn them of the strength of the pack. Bacho pulls his head up out of the water, takes 2 of his great clawed fingers and shoves them up his nostril, and then he makes a fist and just curls his hand until he tears his nose off, and then he eats it. You will smell nothing ever again. I rob you of your greatest scent. Now go back to your stinking hellhole and tell them to fear the pack. But not until you strip of everything. You will return as a dying cub.
He's screaming as the nose is ripped off. Blood is gushing. And you're saying these words, but it seems like he can't comprehend them. As soon as you loosen your grip, he begins to scramble away. He gets maybe 5 steps before he collapses face down into this water, unmoving. He was so close to dying that 1 point of damage ticked him over.
They're so weak.
Well, I mean,
Bacho's just chewing on this cartilage.
if we're not beholden to the blackmail, we can just steal his boat because that's clearly the only one out in the water still.
Let's strip these guards of everything they have of worth and leave this coast behind.
That is a plan that I can get behind.
Yes.
And you see Bacho's nose go up in the air as he tries to smell where that sailor is.
This isn't the one that you spent the willpower on, unfortunately, but it's very clear where he would have been going. This is where we're going to end the session for the night, though. You guys, I'll give you a list of their equipment. You guys can decide what to take throughout the week. Let's do some shout outs. Aaron, what's going on with Garblag?
So tomorrow at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, we'll be returning to Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay 4th Edition. Shillings and Crossbones as our crew of would-be pirates make their way into the Sea of Claws. Then on Thursday, I believe, but don't quote me, Pete may be running some Blade Runner at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And then at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, Jeff and I will be returning to Star Wars: Edge of Empire as our band of mercenaries make their way through the Mandalorian era.
I caught a bit of that. It was a lot of fun. Jeff, what's going on with Lollygaggers?
Yeah, man, we are back this week after having this past weekend off. So this Friday, Aaron returns to the Doom Master chair as he's going to run us through some Conan. Then on Saturday, we're back to One Ring, 2nd edition, as per usual. Monday, we're doing some Holler for Savage Worlds. Tracy Sizemore's 3-session run has wrapped up, so I will be stepping back into the shift boss seat. And we are going to be starting Act 8 of a 10-act campaign, as we're getting very close to the end. And then, obviously, next Tuesday, we'll be back for more Forbidden Lands. Check out, obviously, the YouTube page as well. We have all sorts of games up there, both current and past. So please take a look. And we've got some cool stuff coming over the summer. We've got new games we're really excited to announce. We're going to have some Fallout on the channel. We're going to have some Delta Green on the channel. We're going to have some Twilight Imperium for Genesis on the channel. And a few other things here and there are going to be popping up. So if you're not following already, both the Twitch channel and the YouTube channel, please do. You got any final words for us? Words of wisdom, Stephen?
Not necessarily wisdom. I don't have much of that to offer in the first place. Would we want to mention a possible giveaway?
Yeah, so that's a great idea, but it's your game, so I feel like you should do that.
2 weeks from now, on the 30th, we will be giving away a physical copy of Bitter Reach, the book. So if you want to deal with some very cold encounters, some icy hearts and icy terrain, come back in 2 weeks. Come back next week for the reminder to come back in a week, and you can win a book.
Perfect. I'm going to go ahead and start up Raid as well. So it's kicking up right now. So if you can go ahead and click on that when it's ready and go join Quests and Chaos as they're playing some D&D. But I think that's it for us. So come back on Friday for Conan. Come back on Saturday for Wondering, and we'll see you all later. So bye-bye.
Good night.